this is Jared for today's RacingDigest.com, and this is going to be my video feature race. This is going to be for Saturday, June 24th, 2017. I was going to do a race from Santa Anita. They have a couple graded stakes races, but they both drew 5-horse fields, so we're going to look for the best race from around the country in the stakes ranks, and I've landed on the 8th race from Thistledown. It's going to be the Grade 3 $500,000 Ohio Derby for 3-year-olds. They're going to be traveling a mile and an eighth on the main track. North Randall, Ohio. The weather forecast, partly cloudy, high of 74. So hopefully that forecast holds up and we get a fast track there. We have a three-pronged entry in here. You have Talk Less, Vibe, and Game Over. So some of those horses are local horses. And then you have your favorite in this race is going to be Girvin. Now, Girvin ran in the Kentucky Derby, but he had an issue with his foot. Had a little bit of a foot abscess prior to the Kentucky Derby, and he figured not to run well there. And he did finish up the track that day. But he certainly is one of the ones to beat and a solid contender based on his fairgrounds form from earlier this year. In the Risen Star Stakes, he got a 150 final rating from today's Racing Digest. And then in the Louisiana Derby, he ended up getting a 141 final rating. Now, if he can run back to those kind of numbers and show his tactical speed, striking from a few lengths off the lead under Mike Smith, he will be a solid threat. But at 2-to-1 morning line, he's not going to offer a lot of value. Let's look at some of the other contenders. And some of the other horses also ran in the Kentucky Derby. Irap for trainer Doug O'Neill. This one ran in the Kentucky Derby, and he finished well up the track that day. Now, his race before the Kentucky Derby was his best career race, the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland. He ended up winning that one, and he got a 144 final rating and a 144 pace rating. So he had that good balanced attack. He was up on the pace throughout in that Bluegrass Stakes. He's drawn post 1 in here. And Julian Leparoux, he's only ridden him one time, and that was in that Bluegrass Stakes. But he's only won one race. He broke his maiden in that Bluegrass, and so now he's going to try to get career victory number 2. But you have Untrapped in here for trainer Steve Asmussen, another one that finished up the track in the Kentucky Derby. But if you look at some of his races from earlier this winter at Fairgrounds in Oaklawn Park, the numbers that he earned would make him a threat in this race. He has some tactical speed. Ricardo Santana Jr. is going to ride, and he's ridden him numerous times. He earned a 143 final rating at Fairgrounds in January in the Lecomte Stakes, and then he ran in the Risen Star. He ran well there. He hit the board, and he got a 144 final rating. And then he went to Oaklawn Park for the Rebel Stakes, and he got a 146 final in that one. And then they put blinkers on. They ran him in the Arkansas Derby. He made a wide middle move from an outer post, and then he faded. And then he finished up the track in the Kentucky Derby. But as I said, if he can run back to his earlier speed figures from this year, he certainly is a threat. But he's another one. He only has one lifetime win, but he's hit the board a few times other than that win. You have Fast and Accurate. He's another one that ran in the Kentucky Derby, but he finished up the track. His only decent number on the digest of the Spiral Stakes on an all-weather surface at Turfway Park. He ended up winning that one and getting a 146 final rating, a 163 pace rating, which could put him in front here. But he's only run on dirt 2 times. In Parks last year, finished up the track, beaten double-digit lengths. And then in the Kentucky Derby, he finished well up the track. He was beaten on that race on a fast track. And then he tried turf last time, set the pace, and he faded. Now, I can see him being a pace factor, but his dirt races, he's going to have to prove something. It's not good enough for me for him to just know that he's going to be in front. I can't play him because I don't know that he's, based on the form right now, doesn't look as good on dirt. Now, there is an interesting horse, and I'm going to make him my top choice in here. That is Sorry Erik for Team Desormeaux. Kent Desormeaux, trainer Keith Desormeaux. Now, this one was claimed for $20,000, and that was at Santa Anita. So that was interesting that they're going to claim this horse. He's going to end up in a graded stake. And it's funny, too, that they claimed this horse for $20,000 on January 6th. And he won that race by 5 lengths. And the runner-up in that race was Vibe. And he's also in this race. So in a claiming race, $20,000 claiming race at Santa Anita over the winter, you have 2 horses running in the Ohio Derby. So that is really interesting. But Sorry Erik, in his first start for Keith Desormeaux, optional claiming race at Santa Anita, that was on February 2nd, he won that one. And then they took him to Fairgrounds to run in the Risen Star Stakes, faced some of this company. Girvin was first, Untrapped was second. He finished 7th by 10, but he had post 10. He was 4 wide early, and he was just wide coming into the stretch as well. Then in the Risen Star Stakes, they gave him another shot against Girvin. And in that race, he was only 5th, beaten 5.5 lengths. That was probably, at that point, that was his best career effort. He was bumped at the break. He was wide throughout. That was a good, solid effort from Sorry Erik. So then they laid him off, and then they ran him on the turf last time, and those were his career best numbers. On turf, he got a 137 final rating, a 135 pace rating, rallying to finish second. He took the blinkers off. So I think that the Louisiana Derby in his race prior to that turf race, his numbers would have been better if he didn't lose all that ground. And then last time he jumped up and ran a career best. So now he's back on dirt, second off the layoff, good connections. This horse is certainly improving. He's going to have to continue to improve to win this. But at 6-1, he fits with these and he looks interesting. So here are my top 4 contenders in the 2017 Ohio Derby. I'm going to make Sorry Erik my top choice. Irap, my second choice. Girvin is my third choice. Untrapped is my fourth choice. We're going to make a win and place wager on Sorry Erik. And we're going to play exactas. We're going to key Sorry Erik in first and second. And we'll also use Irap, Girvin, and Untrapped with him in those positions. And then for especially for underneath, I think Untrapped is solid to hit the board in here. So maybe you can play some trifectas and superfectas keying Untrapped maybe in the third and fourth slots. If you're interested in my full card analysis, you can go over to todaysracingdigest.com, click on the products page. I sell full cards each day from Santa Anita Park at todaysracingdigest.com. And if you're interested in those complete digests at todaysracingdigest.com, you can get it from tracks from across the country, including Thistledowns. You can get that Thistledown complete digest over at todaysracingdigest.com for Ohio Derby Day. And that'll wrap up this week's video at todaysracingdigest.com. I'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country.